This is my first experience with the LMP3 in Le Mans Ultimate. You enter the corner, careful on the brake, smooth on the wheel, and then out of nowhere it betrays you. It is not a violent snap, it's worse. It's a slow motion spin you cannot catch. And by the time you're backwards, the lap is over and you're ready to drop the car. But this car is absolutely beautiful with the right settings, with the right driving style. Let's get into it. And after 6 to 8 hours of brutal testing, I found the cure for this problem. And the best part is you could still be competitive. Because here's the thing, if you're not spinning this car, you're already at a massive advantage compared to all the other racers. The LMP3 loves to betray you, especially in the slow corners. But why? It's almost the same story as the Corvette GT3 or the old LMP2 from previous patches. You trail brake into the corner, you coast, you ask for a little bit of rotation with the steering wheel, and it's gone. And out of nowhere, the front suddenly grabs, the rear lets go, and the car tips into a slow, painful spin. The kind of spin you kind of never feel coming. And the most horrible part of this is you can't even blame your inputs. It feels sometimes random. You kind of need to memorize this. And I absolutely hate it when you need to memorize. You need to feel it in your steering wheel, right? Although the force feedback in this particular car is exceptionally good if you ask me, but this is just something that lacks. First, let's talk about what you can immediately change in your driving to understand why you would lose this car. First of all, I'll say it is kind of slow, right? Compared to the LMP2, compared to hypercars. So you need to think about this car being really stiff and having aerodynamically like a lot more downforce than a GT3 car. So you can just take Eau Rouge and Radeon full throttle, that is not an issue, can really corner the car well. But then as soon as you are relying on mechanical grip, the front axle becomes so dominant and your steering trajectory is dominating every time. So if I corner the car like this, as I'm editing this video, that was an absolute horrible corner entry and way too fast, but it's just to make a point. Then it starts to kill me. And I'll explain why this is. And this car is just very sensitive to this. So if you're next time having this issue all the time, you need to understand and respect the front axle, that you need to brake in a straight line like this. And then when you're coming off the brakes, you can steer the car. Again, that was also a bad example, but just as a point, steering with not a lot of throttle or brake inputs in the slow corners. Hey, and if you're liking this content this far, could you please hit that like button? And also note this video is sponsored by Pimax. They are helping me with my sim racing channel. And if you use the links down below, if you're interested in VR, give Pimax a try. You can return a headset within 14 days if you don't like it, so give it a shot. Especially the Crystal Light. There are some deals coming up and I will put them in my newsletter. So have a look. Let's move on. And as soon as you do it too much, and you're driving slowly, then you will lose it. So again, here on this part of the track, we have the downforce helping us out. There is no issue, right? But as soon as you go slower than 130 kilometers or something, then there's a switch of aerodynamics. It just turns off in the game. At least that's how it feels to me. And the car now in this state, in the low speed state, needs to rely on mechanical grip. And the front axle is just so dominant. It kind of glues up and you spin it, right? So you can make setup tweaks to get rid of it. So what does that mean then? And what does that do? So think about when you're holding the steering wheel and you want to rotate the car when you're going slowly and you're touching brakes or you're touching the throttle, the car is cornering and you're pushing the rear tires out of the grip circle immediately. And I think the default setup isn't really that bad, but it just catches you out every now and then. So what that means is then you can trail brake, you can coast, you can corner, but the your steering is so dominant. And myself as a racer, I don't like to have a steer lock limit that I cannot feel. I use too much steer lock, I start to oversteer, spin the car and lose it. I really hate this. So I usually, and now with the races online, you can do a lot of open setups. God bless, don't remove that ever, because now we can drive our own created safe setups. So you can download this in the link below, yeah? But what I basically did, also traction control is really important. The 6.6 is really the safest, but maybe not super competitive. But then again, one spin and the competitiveness doesn't really matter. What I did I added a bunch of packers. I stiffen up the front axle as much as possible. I have the maximum front dampers and the softest rear dampers. And I have the softest anti-roll bar, and I am a really freaking stiff front anti-roll bar, right? Now, some might say, yeah, but now it's very understeery and it's not competitive. I do have a significant amount of rake in the car, or at least rear ride heights. So the rear ride heights makes it a lot better. You can push this higher if you're more advanced, but this really felt nice for me, and now I don't have that kill moment every time. It is still possible to kill the car, but it will be a lot more forgiving. And you can kind of feel it coming too. So you can get it down in the link below. I have also a premium pack. I was building this for multiple hours, so that really helps me out. Yeah, let me know what you think about this high downforce setup. It is a bit not competitive when you have a long straight though. So it's very good on Silverstone and short tracks. And if you want to get into LMU Ultimate and you want all the tips and tricks and like the beginner things you need to know, I highly recommend this beginner guide. It will show you a lot of tricks and a lot of like things I had to figure out when I started out LMU Ultimate. Thanks for watching.